everybody, how are you today? Today we're going to talk about a really important subject. It's one of the most worst dangers of nomadic life, real nomadic life, and that's isolation and loneliness. Anyway, grab your coffee and meet me back here. Have you ever woke up and wondered what was wrong with you? You knew you wanted to be elsewhere, that there was more to life than the life you were living, more than the bills you were paying, the job you were keeping. Look to the horizon, to the sunsets. Your answer is there. Put your feet on the ground and take a deep breath and step into the nomadic lifestyle. You will not regret it. Hi everybody. I'm going to let you know a little secret. My dog loves coffee too. I'll try and get a video up of her drinking her coffee in the morning. So anyway, today is a really a serious subject. Again, it has to do with safety and being safe as a nomad. Now, I talk to females mostly about this subject, but men are as in much danger of being isolated and lonely as the females are. As a matter of fact, one of the major stations, a young man, started out his nomadic adventure in a van, and he ended up quitting it, being suicidal because of the isolation and the loneliness. And that brings me into the next point of having a tribe, and then you see the glam mads with the tribe all the time. You very seldom see them alone, or having a mate with you. Whether it's a girlfriend, a boyfriend, a husband, a wife, or just a travel mate. But being isolated is one of the most dangerous things you can do as a nomad. And let's get into this subject. It's such a heavy subject, and yes, I think that even with an animal, and even as a loner, I am a total loner, you can be isolated to the point to where loneliness takes over, like that young man, suicidal. There's not only him, there was another young man. Again, isolation, especially for van dwellers, because you self-camp all the time, you're alone 90% of the time, and the fact is being alone and being out there makes you vulnerable, not only because you are alone, but because you see people as a magnet. You're so lonely and isolated that sometimes you'll take that step and befriend the wrong person because of isolation and loneliness. And I have to tell you guys, when it gets dark, you're stuck inside. There are so many bugs out there, you can't possibly sit outside. Even with a fire going, you're still stuck inside. So your time out of your rig is from the time the sun comes up till the time the sun goes down. Any other time, you're looking at 12 to 14 hours of solitude. And again, I love solitude. I am one of the biggest loners that I know. But I also knew what it meant to me when I had childhood friends come and visit me when I was out boondocking, or I had family come visit me when I was out boondocking. I almost didn't want them to go. I'm just saying. So, how do you protect yourself from isolation and loneliness? Well, yeah, absolutely, you can get a pet. I think dogs are one of the best companions that we can have. But they're still doing the dog thing, which is what? Sleep 90% of the day? Just saying. You can carry on a conversation with your dog, but your dog won't answer you back. You can hike and walk with your dog, but they don't answer back. Human interaction is such a part of who we are as humans that we have to realize that it's very important that we get that interaction. Now you can get that when you go into town, but once every 14 days is not going to suffice for you. So that's why I feel that it's so important, you guys, that you have a crew. You have a tribe to travel with. People that you can make dinners with, that you can interact with, that you can do chores with, walk with, swim with. It's one of the reasons I advocate work camping. because you get to know so many wonderful people. They know who you are. They know when you're supposed to be there, when you're not supposed to be there. Because when you're isolated, no matter how many people are around you, you could be dead up in that van for days and nobody would really realize it. Just saying. I mean, it's a horrible thought. But the fact is you have to think about isolation. And you know, new nomads, we have technology. Most can get on the internet and stuff, but how do you interact? It's something you need to take into consideration. Heavy consideration. Because loneliness and isolation is as dangerous to you as that creeper, that stalker, that perv, that robber. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. And it's within your own realm. So before you take that big step and you sell everything you have and you go it alone, think really long and hard about isolation. And yeah, I dug it for the first month. But after that, it's like, okay, I've done all the reading I can do, worked all the puzzles I can work. I've walked as much as I can walk. I would like somebody just to talk to. And you know, not always do you have phone service where you can get on the phone and talk to a loved one. It's very much something to consider. Mental health is important to us as physical health. Just saying. Anyway, I hope this is something that you'll stop about and think about. Because you guys, there's 2 nomads out there that almost committed suicide over it. And unlike Bob, suicide in the social realm really isn't acceptable. Just saying. Anyway, think about it. From my heart to yours, don't forget to love yourself today. Because if you don't love you, ain't nobody love you. And you know what? It's doing something special for others that keep us from being isolated and keep us from being lonely. Go do something for your loved ones today. Peace out. Have a good day. Bye for now.